I have had the chance to sit down with my older brother Roger and have a talk like in an interview. In The Flight of an Aviator, Interview 1, we talk about him growing up. In The Flight of an Aviator, Interview 2, where we find out when and where and how he came so fixated on becoming a pilot. In this video, The Flight of an Aviator 3, we still talk about flying, him growing up, but mainly his passion for playing the bagpipes, where he wanted to do ever since a young childhood of 8 years of age, where he marched in his first pipe band in Panola, playing the snare drum alongside his dad and uncle, to eventually play in front of the Queen at Edinburgh's military tattoo.
Did a little bit of reading research on ag pilots. They only do so many hours before there's a mishap. There's a bit of a rule of thumb type thing. So in my terminology, you ever pranged a bloody plane?
Oh, I haven't pranged a bloody plane. No, it was a Transaver air truck, Australian designed and built, very short coupled, which means it's easily out of balance. The thrust versus the drag, lift versus weight. The coupling that they form is very easily put out of balance. However, I picked this aircraft up and flew it to Sale and then back to Bairnsdale. So I had a grand total of 1 hour on the air truck. And anyway, the boss was loading me and I was unaware that he had overloaded me. So I took off and did a couple of runs and I hit a tree and went down. As a matter of fact, I can still remember it. I was going down and I was cursing because I wasn't able to say goodbye to Lynn or Cassandra. Oh. She was born then, Aaron came along later. Anyway, I came to, so I must have stunned myself. I came to and the nose of the aeroplane wasn't there. I was sitting there looking at the ground and my helmet was over on the ground over there. And so it must have come off. And so that was that. The aeroplane's still there.
Still there today?
Yeah.
So your flying started at Sale, Western Gippsland.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned firebombing, and you've done a fair bit at Burke. Yes. Could you tell us a bit more about Burke?
Burke, yeah. I was invited to go up to Burke and finish off a season for a pilot. He wanted to leave Burke and go back to England to sell his business and come back to Burke. Anyway, I was invited to go up there and finish off this season, which I did. I was straight into the night spraying because by then it was about December or January or something. So that was my first, no, it was my second season.
So doing that, going overseas, coming back, bagpipes. That kicked off fairly early.
It did, Greg. My uncle Angus, Dad's brother-in-law, was a bagpiper in Mount Gambier before he shifted to Panola, where he became a very respected overseer of the Panola District Council. So he was a very good bagpiper. And so he started the Panola and District Caledonian Pipe Band from scratch.
Oh, from the beginning?
Yeah. Oh. And Dad was a drummer. And so after 12 months, they had a full complement of pipers and drummers, fully uniformed with instruments after 12 months. And they had their first play out down the main street, which is absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so, and cousin Wayne was also a piper. Anyway, so that set the scene. I pestered Dad. I wanted to learn the drums because with the band marching down the street, I'd march beside Dad, but I couldn't keep up. And anyway, so I pestered Dad until he took me down to the band hall and I learnt the side drum. And so I played with the band for the rest of our time in Panola. We went to Adelaide for competition playing, which is rather a big deal. I thought that was pretty crash hot. Anyway, by then we shifted to Mount Gambier and I wanted to learn the bagpipes, of course. So it wasn't all that far. We lived in Umphaston Street, and so I'd ride my bike around to the Mount Gambier Cycling Club rooms at the back of Vanceta Park, which is where the band practiced. So I'd go there. And Dickie Hepburn was their pipe major. He was my instructor. He was very good. He was an A-grade piper, and the pipe band got him out from Scotland, provided a job, organised a house, provided he was their instructor. And he got them up to A-grade playing, and they did very well in competitions, as I said. Right. So I learnt the pipe. I was learning the pipes, and I joined the Air Force. And when I was in Canberra in the RAF, I went and joined, or more or less joined the Burns Club pipe band and continued learning. I remember the first tune I had to learn was Hide on the Laddie, and the next one was Scotland the Brave. So anyway, and then I went to Vietnam, and I didn't play pipes for quite some time. I came back, and I back to Sale. I got discharged from the RAF at Sale. There was a pipe band in Morwell that I joined, and then I didn't play pipes until Griffith. We shifted to Griffith, and I was flying out of there for 4 years. I used to drive over to Leeton and join the pipe band there, and then back down to Benalla we shifted to and joined the Benalla pipe band, and then I used to play up in Burke with Cassandra. I taught Cassandra, and Aaron learnt the drums at Scott School. I taught Cassandra to play, and she played with the Benalla pipe band, Scott School pipe band.
And Cassandra's still playing.
Yeah, Cassandra's still playing. I'm very proud of it. She played with a pipe band over in Glasgow last year at the World Pipe Band Championships. So she went from Scott School Albury up to Cairns, where they were married, Nick and Cassandra. She played with the Cairns pipe band, and then down to Newcastle, where she now plays with the Newcastle RSL pipe band. Okay. Yeah, and Aaron played the drums for Scott School band, and also Clan MacLeod pipe band. We played for them, Clan MacLeod Bendigo pipe band.
So, when you first decided on the pipes, it was a few years ago, obviously, but was it? Why didn't you learn the guitar or something like that?
Yeah, well, I did play the guitar a bit, not very well, but no, I took a shine to the pipes, and that was it. Yeah, no problems.
And your peers, they just took.
Yeah, not a problem. And Dad didn't mind because he was a drummer. And
but he used to play the violin too, didn't he?
Well, Dad did, yeah. As a lad on the farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yes. And so all these pipes, you're getting pretty good at them. You said A class.
Yeah.
So
A grade, yeah.
A grade. Are you playing for people? Places you've played? Have you played for anybody?
Well, I used to play, I still do, RSL, Anzac Days, Dawn Service.
Dawn Service? Where would this be?
Yeah, well, various places, but currently in Albury, I'm the Albury RSL piper. So I play for the Dawn Service each Anzac Day, and depending what they want, depending what the president wants, but I'm up there at 4:45 in the morning, and when I'm announced, for the Dawn Service, I slow march playing to Flowers of the Forest, slow marching around from the back of the monument to the front, and continue playing there till I finish in front of about 3,000 attendees. It's very well attended, and then
I don't know how to get 3,000 up there, but
yeah, they do. Yeah. Every seat full of seats and standing room only, out onto the roadway, right around. So then after the Dawn Service, and I'll play going off, after the Dawn Service, come back down for the main street march with the Albury Wodonga pipes and drums, and then back up there for the 10 o'clock service.
It's cold. Sorry, it's cold in the morning.
Oh, cold as anything.
So I don't smoke anymore, but I used to have trouble rolling smoke, let alone doing that.
Well, I've got these two little pocket warmers, they call them, a little plastic bag thing.
We won't get personal, but
and you click, 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 and they warm up. So you put them in your pocket, you sit there and you keep your hands warm. But when it's time to perform, it's a bit of a struggle because your body's cold, your hands are cold. You're willing yourself to play the tune, but it's much more comfortable playing at 10 o'clock when everyone's thawed out.
So you played in the dawn services, weddings, funerals.
Yeah, a lot of funerals,
Yeah.
especially just after COVID. I had about one funeral per week for several months, and I'd never played that often before or after for funerals.
What sort of tunes, excuse my ignorance, what sort of tunes do you play at a funeral?
Generally laments, or
Who?
the lament. It's a style of music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Slow much?
Yes. Really, whatever they want. The family can request anything, and now and again it's a tune that I can't play. It's like I had one they wanted me to play when the Saints come marching in. So I thought, God. Anyway, I found the tune and learned it, because you got to play it off by heart. There's no reading music. That's cheating with playing pipes. So you got to learn it off by heart. So, but then there's a lot of other tunes. Another person wanted the Black Bear, which is a military march tune, that's what she wanted. So that's what she got. But no, mainly slow tunes. Yeah.
Now, you said A grade player before, so how long before you became an A grade player? Where's...
Well, I played in competition. I won a couple of firsts there, and then
whereabouts did this happen?
here in Albury.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
you become very good at it, and you are invited to go somewhere.
I was invited to participate in the Edinburgh Tattoo, which goes for 1 month, 24 days I think it is.
Edinburgh Tattoo, England.
Scotland.
Yeah.
So that was a real big buzz. That's the photo of it up there on the Edinburgh Castle Esplanade. And Scott Nicholson, the pipe band coordinator, pipe major, who is also a world champion piper, he invited me to come along. We had about 8 adults and the rest were high school children, and they were very good. We were given the tunes you got to play. They sent the 20 odd tunes to us 5 months before we had to turn up.
20 tunes?
20
5
tunes
months.
in 5 months. So that's 1 tune a week. You get the music, you understand, you read it, understand it, work your way through on the practice chanter, get it off by heart, on the pipes, off by heart, no mistakes. Any mistake, you're out. And that happened in Edinburgh to other pipe bands. Two pipers were given the sack and 2 drummers, not our band. So you've got 1 tune a week to learn. Part the way through, they videoed us, and it was sent to Scotland to make sure we're measuring up. And so before we went, you've got to really gel as a pipe band. It's not individual, but you've got to really gel. So we played competition in New Zealand, played competition in Sydney.
The same group?
Yes, same band.
Same band,
basically.
Yeah.
1 or 2 exceptions. So we arrived in Edinburgh with all the tunes under our belt. We had number 1 uniform, which is the red jacket and the plaids, and number 2 uniform, which is our normal uniform. We had to there was 12 pipe bands involved, and we were bussed to the Redford Army Barracks in Edinburgh, big bull ring, big parade ground, and they had to work out how we would march in and form a thistle on the castle esplanade. That's what they wanted. So they had to work out which band comes in and da-da-da. And so we were there from 9 o'clock in the morning, and we knocked off about 5 in the afternoon. They did say that they could keep us there till 11 o'clock at night if we weren't measuring up. But fortunately, everything was all right.
Measured up.
We measured up. So anyway, 3 days there. I saw Princess Anne. She was there chatting to different people, not me, but she's a patron to the Edinburgh Tattoo, Princess Anne. She's a real goer. And anyway, so we finished day 3. Day 4, we were bussed back to the University of Edinburgh, which is where we were billeted. Beautiful accommodation, food, everything. So we had big buses, and so we had to put on our number 1 uniform and go up to the castle for a full dress rehearsal, and your friends and other people could come and watch it if they wanted to. The stand's already there. So we went up the back of the castle, ran through all the tunes, no mistakes, tuned up the pipes accurately, and so we marched down over the drawbridge to the esplanade, into the Thistle, and we went through everything. And then they said, righto, that was pretty good, go back up there again, you're on tonight. And so that was it. And they provided some hot food and drinks for us because it's pretty cold. So that was that. And so we played every night of the week, twice on a Saturday night, and we had Sundays off. But Sundays,
Practice.
it was practice, but we used to tour around, and we entered in some competition. We went also to Glasgow. We were invited to play in the Piping Live on the square in Glasgow, and there's a YouTube on that. So, and then back, that was in number 2 uniform, so then back to the university in time to have tea, and then on the buses, or ready before getting on the buses by 6 p.m. I think it was. Security was very tight. There were sniffer dogs checking the bus underneath, through the bus, and also mirrors going around underneath security. There were armed police everywhere at the castle. Practiced together, got all those tunes under our belts, went to New Zealand, national comps, went to Sydney, national comps. You've got all that.
Down
pat, so you don't have to think about it.
So, but you're marching the same type of thing you did, what you did in New Zealand, did here in Australia, you did over there, with the same patterns? Or?
No, different. No, we had to march differently. However, we were gelling as a band, marching together. There wasn't any problem.
Yeah.
That there was no issues with discipline.
Yeah.
Because they knew that everything had to be done right.
Yeah. Behind the gates, as you might be able to see in some pictures, you're about to come on. Tell us your feelings as...
Fairly anxious. Even though you've done it many times before, you're still anxious. So we're all formed up.
Well, that was bloody amazing. Roger kept his dreams alive since the early age of 8, 9, and wanting to fly. Flying different countries, all over the world, eventually doing over 18,000 hours. His other dream was to play the bagpipes. Just not play them, but to play them very well. and he has done just that. He was invited to play at the Edinburgh's Military Tattoo in Scotland. Even if you're not into bagpipes, playing at the Military Tattoo in Scotland, now that would be a buzz. Anyway, whilst flying and playing bagpipes, Roger learns the art of healing. The art is called Bowen. Eventually doing his masters in this art and still practicing that today. So let's have a look.